Medicus, a novel of the Roman Empire, by Ruth Downie, narrated by Simon Vance. Copyright 2007 by Ruth Downie. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Ruth Downie and Inkwell Management and was produced in the year 2007 by Tantor Media Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto. Chapter 1. Someone had washed the mud off the body, but as Gaius Petrius Ruso unwrapped the sheet, there was still a distinct smell of river water. The assistant wrinkled his nose as he approached with the record tablet and the measuring stick he had been sent to fetch. "So," said Ruso, flipping the tablet open, "what's the usual procedure here for unidentified bodies?" The man hesitated. "I don't know, sir. The mortuary assistant's on leave." "So who are you?" "The assistant, sir." The man was staring at the corpse. "But have you attended a post-mortem before?" Without taking his eyes off the body, the man shook his head. "Are they all like that, sir?" Ruso, who had started work before it was light, stifled a yawn. "Not where I come from." The description should come first. Facts before speculation. Except that in this case, much of the description was speculation as well. Female. Aged. He spent some time frowning over that one. Finally, he settled on approximately 18 to 25 years. Average weight. Height. 5 feet 1 inch. At least that was fairly accurate. Hair. Red. Scant. That, too, although it might not be very helpful if no one had ever seen her before without a wig. Clothing. None found. So no help there, then. 3 teeth missing, but not in places that were obvious. Someone would need to know her very well indeed to give a positive identification from that. Ruso glanced up. "Did you go over to HQ for me?" "I told them we'd got a body and you'd send the details over later, sir." "Did you ask about missing persons?" "Yes, sir. There aren't any." This did not bode well. Ruso continued working his way down the body, making notes as he went. Moments later his search was rewarded. "Ah, good." "Sir?" Ruso pointed to what he had found. "If somebody turns up looking for her in a month's time," he explained, "we'll be able to tell them who we buried." He recorded strawberry birthmark, approximately 1/2 inch long on inside of upper right thigh, 8 inches above the knee, and sketched the shape. When he had completed the description, Ruso scratched one ear and gazed down at the pale figure laid out on the table. He was better acquainted than he wished to be with the dead, but this one was difficult. The water had interfered with all the signals he had learned to look for. There was no settling of the blood to indicate the position in which the body had been left, presumably because it had rolled over on the current. The limbs were flexible, so that meant... what? Men who died in the stress of battle often froze and then relaxed again much faster than was normal. So if the woman had been frightened or struggling... On the other hand, how would the aftermath of death be affected by cold water? He scratched his ear again and yawned, trying to think what he could usefully write on the report that would not cause more distress and confusion to the relatives. Finally he settled on time of death. Uncertain. Estimated at least 2 days before discovery, and gave his reasons. He glanced up at the assistant's assistant again. "Can you write legibly?" "Yes, sir." He handed the tablet and stylus across the body. "Place of death," he dictated, then corrected himself. "No, put location of body." The man laid the tablet on the end of the table, hunched over it, and repeated, "Location of body," as he scraped with awkward but determined obedience. "Found 500 paces downstream from the pier, in marshes on the north bank," said Ruso, wishing he had carried on writing himself. "Found 500, muttered the man, suddenly breaking off in mid-sentence to look up and say, "She could have drowned a long way upstream and come down the river, sir, but then she might have gone in farther along and come up on the tide." "Pardon?" Ruso blinked, taken aback by this sudden display of initiative. Moments later it was apparent that although this soldier knew nothing about hospital administration and very little about writing, he had devoted his spare time to learning everything there was.